இந்த இடத்துல உயிர் கொடுத்து சுரேகாவை காப்பாத்திருக்கான் மச்சான். சுரேகாவுக்கோ உங்க மம்மிக்கு விருப்பம் நினைக்கிறியா? நந்தினி இந்த வீட்டை காப்பாற்ற சாமி
Good evening, all.
Good evening,
Good
ma'am.
evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah. So very good evening. Okay. I have shared the PPT. Hope it's visible to everyone. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Visible.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So let's start the today's session, which is about the risk happenings in usually which happens in corporates, in business enterprises, and what measures, strategic measures or operational measures, what measures they do take to manage these risks, and how they continue with their businesses. So when I say about the risk faced by management of companies, corporates, organizations, or enterprises. So, what are all the risks? You feel they may encounter. What would be the risk? The first would be the financial risk. So, the first answer I would say, but I want few of you to participate, be very interactive. So, what are all the risks? Other than the financial risk, what risks an enterprise or a corporation or a corporate company would face, actually would face? Yeah, most of you are working professionals, right? So what risks they would face? Yeah.
Inventory risk,
Inventory risk. You mean
like not being
excess
able to
inventory?
receive the stocks on time or deliver to the customers, raw
Okay.
materials.
Okay. So risk in material handling, right? Am I right? Is that what you're mentioning? Sometimes out of stock or sometimes overstock. Yeah. Okay, fine. Yes, anything else? Risks
Yes,
in
exactly, ma'am.
managing the
Sometimes out of
resources.
stock, shortage stock, shrinkage inventory like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Shrinkage in the inventory, or sometimes excess inventory, which doesn't sell off, right? Like dead stock or obsolete inventory. Yeah, that may be the risk. And then anything else?
Something is wrong there. You feel
Inventory branding.
Sorry.
Maintain the
Yes.
branding.
Yeah, yes, brand, that is no the threats, the threat from the competitors or the threat from the industry. the brand faces a threat, right? So reputational risk, that's called reputational risk. Yes. And then okay, we have seen three.
Customer
So
satisfaction.
financial risk, customer satisfaction. Okay. Okay, fine, good. Customer satisfaction. Can you explain like what is how does that become a risk?
Yes, ma'am. Maintaining that product qualities, deliver that product on time.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, okay. Uh, can Miss Siluvamma, right? Siluvamma, can you mute your audio? Your background noise is not like disturbing. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So Mr. Devan came with one more point, that is risk by through customers. I would take it this way. That is no like the company may lose its customers, right? Losing its customers. It's called customer churn. Customer churn means the customers who are buying from a same brand stops buying from the brand. So that's customer churn. So that may be a risk. And customer turnover. Turnover in the sense not only stop buying from this brand, but they switched on to competitors' brand. That's customer turnover. So yeah, those are all the risks. Okay. So yeah, let's thank you all for your feedback, your no, like inputs. So let's continue. So other than the financial risk, that is the credit risk, let's see what are all the risks, no, like a company, an enterprise may face in its business processes. Okay, so first let's see, no, like what is ERM actually? So it is a process of identifying, assessing, and managing risk across the organization. So this identification may happen in two stages, either once the risk has happened or speculation, no, before the risk is happened. So if the company can take, like a proactive measures by, foreseeing, forecasting. So by, identifying the risk which is going to happen in the future, then they have enough time to take, necessary measures to avoid the risk. There is no risk mitigating steps, no processes they can go with. But sometimes, no, the companies may face the risk, no, like actually it is experiencing the risk. So after experiencing, after the risk has been, no, like felt, then it identifies what caused the situation, what caused the risk. Then assessing, what is assessing? Checking the, the intensity of the risk, whether it could be easily handled, whether the solution could be easily, worked out. So assessing the risk. So what is the intensity, of the risk, and managing the risk across the organization. So the risk may happen from any side of the organization. It may come from top management through shareholders, or it may come from employees through employees, or from their customers, or from the competitors, or from their debtors or creditors, or with the clients they are dealing with, suppliers, or no, like marketing channels. So the risk, or sometimes from the government, okay, the government, or from the local bodies, from the unions, workers unions. So the risk may happen, no, like come from either of this side. So managing the risk across the organization. So why we have to know, first identify and assess the risk, because it helps the businesses to reduce losses and achieve their objectives. And it is used by managers at all levels. That is, within their department, they can check they can know, analyze the risk, no, which is going to happen or already happened, and they can start working on it. So I have given an example. So for each and every type of risk, I have given no examples. A manufacturing company identifies risks such as a machine breakdown or theft or the rising raw material cost, and create plans to handle them. Just like one or two of you said that managing the inventory may be a risk, right? So imagine a manufacturing unit, or a warehousing unit, so, or a distribution center, like facing difficulties, in managing the inventory, managing the stock otherwise. So sometimes like overstocking may happen because of procurement has happened, like a bulk procurement has happened because the materials were available at low cost, or at the like the cost of the raw materials has decreased. So more bulk purchases has been done, bulk sourcing has been done, and more production has been done because of it. And because of more production, excess inventory, excess stock, like overstock has happened. And you can't sell, company can't sell or can't like push all their complete products, their finished products or their like stock to the market. So overstocking may happen, and after some time it may lead to the excess stock will lead to dead stock or an obsolete stock. And sometimes like out of stock situation, non-availability of raw materials, or like excess demand, sudden rise in demand in the market. So that may lead to out of stock situation. So that is also a risk, because if that is an out of stock situation, obviously the customers they are not going to wait for this brand's product. Immediately they will switch on to the competitor's product, which is available in the market almost at the same price, almost having the same features. Okay, so what are the features of ER, the enterprise risk management? It's a continuous process, because now, since the market is more dynamic, more competitive, and more competitors are there for each and every product or service which is available in the market. There are like more competitors, so more startup companies are coming up. So the assessing the risk and like speculating the risk before it happens, it's a continuous process actually. And it supports the business strategy, because analyzing the risk, the level the top level can top management, they can take make strategic plans and everything. And yeah, risk is like managing the risk is done by across all departments in the organization, and it helps to identify the future risk and involves employees at all levels. For example, a retail company regularly reviews risk related to suppliers, inventory, and customer compliance. Now, let's see what are the types of risk in ER, managing the enterprise risk. Now, credit risk, which is otherwise called financial risk. Now, this may happen in either way. First scenario will be the company has given the money or goods worth like some money. It has given to its the channels, marketing channels like retailers or wholesalers, through whomsoever they are going to sell the product, but they haven't returned back the money. They haven't paid the money for the goods they have purchased from the company. So that's a credit risk. On the other hand, the company has bought loan from say any financial institutions or from other companies, but the company is not able to pay back. So that is again a credit risk. So in either way, the company can face a financial risk. And then market risk. So we are going to see in detail about what is market risk, and see how the company tries to manage everything. Then underwriting risk, operational risk, strategic risk, reputational risk, compliance risk. So finance risk and reputational risk we have already we discussed in brief in the beginning of the session. So let's see one by one. So a company facing credit risk when its consumer fails to repay a loan. So usually that's how the financial risk may happen. So risk that customers or borrowers fail to pay money owed, and the borrower defaults and the company suffers a loss. This usually happens when sales or purchase is done through credit and not by cash, not by hot cash, because most of the business operations it happens through credit only, and especially if the company is dealing with the same supplier or same buyer for a very long time, usually credit based purchase or credit based sales is being made. So after some time, say after a month's time, or after 3 months, that is a quarter's time, usually the clients or the company will make the payment, whatever, how much ever they have purchased, they will make the payment. There is no repayment would be done. But when that doesn't come, it will go to sundry creditors or sundry debtors, and finally it may lead to bad debt situation. So that is a credit risk a company may face. Then comes the market risk. Volatile market, very dynamic market. So many competitors are coming up almost on a daily basis. So changing market conditions, whether it's through competitors or whether it's through customers, or sometimes it may be through the marketing channels, or sometimes it may be the tariffs or the taxes. Immediately it may hike up, right? So see, now the fuel prices have hiked up, so the transportation prices are going to increase, and because of that the materials cost will also be increased, right? So risk arising from changes in market conditions, like sometimes no interest rate may change, exchange rates, stock prices may fluctuate. For example, a company importing goods suffers losses when the rupee weakens against the US dollar, especially when we are exporting or importing from or to US. Then comes underwriting risk. It is a risk of wrongly assessing the customers. You believe the customers, this is what the customers needs, or this is what the customer wants. And, you go with designing, developing a product or service, and you launch it in the market. You invest heavily on positioning the product in the market or positioning your brand in the market. But finally, it seems customers, they are not liking it, or they are not so fascinated about your product or service. Something is lacking there. Okay, so you're facing some difficulty, from their side to believe your brand or to believe your product. So that's why they are not making a buying decision. So wrongly assessing the customer's demands, no? So that is underwriting risk. So insurance company charges a low premium to a high risk customer and later incurs heavy claims. So without proper assessment, without properly analyzing the customers, if you go with designing, developing, and launching your product, so that may be the risk. Okay, and many companies has faced this risk. They invest high, invest too much on a new product or a new sub brand, but after launching they see that it's a big failure in the market because of many reasons, because they have wrongly assessed the customers, or they may not have launched the product on the right time. Okay, so at the right time, they might have missed the right time, or they might have launched in a wrong time. So that may be the reason. Or before the company launches, the competitor launches almost the same product, that is identical product or service. They took the first decision, they have launched it on the first thing. So they you become the competitor for them in the market. So it's not your first launching, but it has become their first launching. So obviously, that becomes an underwriting risk. Then comes the operational risk. So it is a what do you say? A vast study, operational risk of a business. It may come from any side, any side of the business. It may come from different levels of the business, or it may come from shareholders, or it may come from the clients, the suppliers, or the general procedures or operations, day-to-day operations happening. So anything could bring a risk to the company. Sometimes even the employees of the company they could also bring a risk to the company. So sometimes it is caused by the system failures, or the process, how everyday operations, everyday process goes on. So some process errors, or human mistakes. For example, if an employee enters one incorrect data, but it causes a huge financial loss. So you can give many examples for this. Say a group of employees, they completely oppose a new change being implemented in the organization. That is a risk. And not only they are resisting, but they are encouraging everyone, the others, influencing the other employees also, to resist the same. So that is a risk, from the employee side. And the unions risk, they know, they try to, hinder the process or hinder the operations, day-to-day operations. That is another risk. Okay. Then comes the strategic risk. That is risk from poor business decisions. We know very well all the strategic decisions are taken by the top management. So it's the responsibility of the top management. And strategic decisions means all big decisions, right? Which involves money, huge money, right? So it's not just about managing or the decisions or managing the day-to-day operations, but it's all about making big decisions. So if a wrong decision has been made and implemented, and because of that the organization may incur heavy losses. So for example, a mobile phone company fails to adopt new technology and loses the market share. So we have seen many mobile company. The best example we have seen is Nokia, right? So they have failed to adopt the new technology. They were not ready to adopt to Android, and they faced heavy losses in the market. And then the reputational risk. That is same, almost not only because of failing to adopt to new change, but um, you know not trying to maintain the existing reputation, no? So that may also cause us a risk for a business. For example, a well established company who is in the business for a very long time, and they are running smooth, they are making almost reasonable profit, the employees are okay with their work environment, everything is going good, okay, the shareholders, everything is going good, they have got enough customers, but they cannot go with this for a long time, right? So something has to be changed, some new thing has to be added on. But the company doesn't want to take any, no, make any innovation, doesn't want to try anything. So obviously, the company will face reputational risk in the market. And another scenario is they haven't given the product which they have promised for. There is no the product they have launched or the service they have launched. It doesn't no meet the standards or doesn't meet the qualities what the company has already promised for through their advertisements, through their marketing, positioning, strategies. They have said something about the product, but that is not the product anymore, or that is not in the service anymore. So that becomes a reputational risk. And other than that, a few things, for example, not attending to a customer's serious issue. The customer is facing, a big problem, and the company is not responding to it. That becomes a reputational risk. Like we have seen, sometimes companies, this food industry, food companies Pizza Hut, or especially this KFC, chicken, the Burger King, sometimes in any of the outlets, not every outlet, but any of the outlet in the world, in some remote place, the customer may have seen a dead insect or something, a decayed, the meat piece in the burger or the pizza or somewhere, okay. And they reported to the concerned manager, the floor manager or the outlet manager, and that manager doesn't take it seriously, and it becomes a big issue, okay. And because of that, the company faces a reputational risk. This we have seen, especially the food companies. And dairy milk, I think you might have known about this case, about this dairy milk. When they know, I think during 2004 or 2005, I'm pretty sure, one customer, one consumer in North India, so he, bought a dairy milk chocolate, the 24 rupees. That time it was more like 24 rupees or something for his kid, for his daughter. And after reaching home, when the wrapper was opened, the customer found worms, no small worms in the chocolate. So immediately this customer reported to the retail store where this customer has bought the chocolate. But that retail store manager, the owner, didn't take it seriously. So they were trying to avoid the customer. They were trying to um, sway away the customer. So what this customer did was, through he took the photographs of this the chocolate which had worms, and he approached the tribunal, the consumer tribunal. And through the consumer tribunal, this customer filed a case against the distributors of dairy milk. And then they found out that a complete lot of dairy milk chocolate, it has actually crossed the expiry date. So expiry date, the lot of dairy milk which has crossed the expiry date, that has been sold in the market. People didn't notice, consumers didn't notice the expiry date, because usually the chocolates and buying during the, while buying chocolates and eateries, generally consumers don't check for the expiry date, especially for packaged food items. So that was not happening in those days, because they believed in the brand, they believed in the company, they believed in the product. And it has become a huge reputational risk for dairy milk, the sub brand, okay, and the Nestle company. And actually, the distributors, in Northern, in that particular location, it was completely closed and sealed by the order of the court, by the order of the Consumer Tribunal Court. It was completely closed down, shut down, and the sale of dairy milk, it saw a great dip, in the retail industry. So then the company tried to bribe the consumer tribunal, and they did many things. But after some time, say after 6 months or 8 months, slowly again, they try to relaunch the product by saying it that you can believe in this brand, you can believe in this product. So hereafter, this mistakes won't happen. And they chose Amitabh Bachchan as brand ambassador for relaunching their product, relaunching their brand, and that's how they tried to save their reputation. So, a company facing other risks, like sometimes financial risk it may face, or sometimes it may face operational risk. So those risks are internal risks actually. It can be easily managed, it can be easily monitored, everything is under control if it happens within the organization. But the reputation risk and compliance risk, which we are going to see next. So reputational risk and compliance risk, when an organization faces, it is something connected to the external environment. It may be the external market, or external suppliers, or external customers, or it may be the government. So if these two risks happen, it is very difficult for the company to manage these risks, because these two are out of their control. They cannot keep it their control, and it is not into their the monitoring stream, internal monitoring stream. So then comes the compliance risk. So this will happen when an organization does not comply with labor laws, or doesn't comply with any laws which is um, formulated by the governments or local tribunals, or constitutional bodies regarding the employee benefits, or consumer benefits, or their share stakeholder benefits, or regarding to the working hours, the working environment, which results in lawsuits and fines. So compliance risk is the risk that an organization may face legal penalties, financial losses, reputational damage, operational disruptions, because it fails to comply with laws, regulations, industry standards, or internal policies. So that is what has happened for dairy milk actually. They now face the compliance risk. Because the compliance, what is the law actually for selling the food products? So any product which has crossed the expiry date shouldn't be sold to the consumer. So that is the law, right? But the dairy milk, no, the sub brand, it's no, like it's sold without no proper like checking or proper monitoring. They just know like allowed a complete lot of like the chocolates, no, it went out into the market. So that then they face no like high compliance risk, and yeah, lawsuits were filed against dairy milk, and compensation was sought. They lost their reputation, and there were many operational disruptions. No, the quality manager, no, like many people were suspended. No, they were dismissed from their services. No, because of this issue, and their industry standards went down. They were about to close all their operations. No, in Indian subcontinent. Then slowly, no, like because of their strategic this thing, they again no like came up. Okay, so what are the sources of the compliance risk? So changes in laws and regulations, the company either purposefully avoids it or even knowing it, or they may not be aware of it. So this could be the reason. So whichever new law or new regulation the government has now like formulated, and it has made it as a rule. So the organization's responsibility is to be aware of those laws and regulations and immediately implement those norms and guidelines in their organization. And failure to follow no like few policies, company policies, especially with regards to environment, or with regards to the consumers, or with regards to the employees. So all these no like will lead to compliance risk. Then inadequate employee training. So employees should be aware of no like all these new laws and regulations, new norms, new guidelines, no, which is no like forwarded by the government. So they should be knowing, they should be made aware of it. So inadequate employee training may lead to compliance risk. Weak internal controls. If the leaderships, no, if the leaders are not, um, responsible, they are not taking responsibility, or they are not taking control over the process or employees or situation. So then compliance risk may happen. And ethical misconduct, like with regards to discrimination, or with regards to abuse, or with regards to harassment. So anything no like ethical no like misconduct happening, so that will lead to compliance risk. And for example, when the law was passed that any child under 16 years shouldn't be employed in any organizations or any no like any homes as domestic help. Okay, so that is the law actually. You shouldn't employ any child no who is under 16 years, male or female. 16 years, you shouldn't employ them either no in a business enterprise, or even for no household chores. You shouldn't employ them. So then you will face a serious uh, this serious legal charges. So many companies, no, they didn't follow the law. When this rule was passed in India, many companies didn't follow the law. This rule was passed, I think, no, like I remember in 1996 or 1997, this rule was passed. So, but many companies, no, like they haven't adopted this rule. They haven't implemented this rule in their business enterprises, small businesses, large businesses, especially no manufacturing units, no like processing units, transportational units. So all these no like supply chain units, they didn't follow this rule when this rule came up. No, like they were still employing children under 16 years, no, in their business enterprises. And through the government dignitaries, and through government volunteers, each and every business enterprise was no like raided actually. So the authorities from the government, no, and from the police department, they were no like raiding each and every business enterprise, no, in every city actually. They were checking for no like any child labor is happening, and whichever company was still employing and encouraging the child labor, they were faced with, they were incurred with heavy fines. So ethical misconduct, which it leads to like severe compliance risk, and data privacy violations. That also will lead to compliance risk. And when Sundar Pichai took over the position of CEO as Google, the very next year, the company faced charges of data privacy violations. So he has to know, like he was made to appear in the tribunal court in USA, and because the company, Google, it was like believed to like sell the customers' data, because like while we have an account with Google, we sometimes give our personal information as well, right? And whichever like we search through Google, so it's our personal interest, right? So these personal information and personal interest of an individual was being sold to companies, so that like they can target us with their targeted advertisements and targeted promotions. So yeah, Google faced like a huge data privacy violation, and finally they accepted it. Actually, they accepted it, and they paid fine for it. They paid like a fine, kind of a thing. So data privacy violations also like will create a huge compliance issue for business enterprises. So consequences, financial penalties and fines, yes, that they have to pay. Legal proceedings they have to face, and loss of business licenses can also happen. Many companies, or restaurants, like they have like they have been shut down. Especially, I have seen it in Chennai, I have seen it in Bangalore, I've seen it in Kochi. So because of a wrong or decayed selling decayed food items, their licenses have been suspended. And the damage to reputation, that is a serious consequence, and loss of customer trust and operational disruptions may happen. So how companies manage the compliance risk? Okay, so say like a company knowingly or unknowingly they have faced the compliance risk. They didn't follow the rule or regulation, or they didn't follow like the guideline, and knowingly or unknowingly, and they have faced the compliance risk. So how they were going to manage, how they are going to tackle it? So how they can manage is by conducting regular compliance audits. Every company does that, and nowadays like there are many external agencies, third party agencies for conducting this compliance audit. So usually we know the CA people do auditing like in firms, right? Sometimes these CA people, the chartered accountant people, they may be a part of the company, that is they will work for the company, or they may be outsiders, the third party service providers. The company, if the company wants, they can hire them on a contractual basis, for conducting audit on their business processing with regards to the money, right? So they do the audit thing. So likewise, we have complaints team for almost all the departments. For for HR department, there are no complaints teams, and for manufacturing department there are complaints teams. So regular compliance audits conducted by the company, taken care by the company, either through their internal support system or through external service providing parties. So that will help the organization to track and monitor the risk which is going to happen, or with the risk which they are experiencing at that point of time. Then employee training programs, let the employees know, be aware that what are all the guidelines, norms, and what are their their rights, and their the level of freedom they have in the organization. What are all the things they can question upon to the management? So they have to be properly trained, and strong internal controls should be there. So a strong leadership should be there to take control, to monitor everything which is happening within the enterprise. And the compliance monitoring systems can be implemented, especially the technology, because human they can make errors when they are making the when they are documenting or when they are like processing physically, so they may make errors, no, they may cause damages. But when the systems are used, that is, the software is used, technology is used, then there would be a control, like, because systems doesn't make any errors, right? So there will be a control. So compliance monitoring systems can be implemented, and appointing compliance officers internally, or like acquiring them from external sources, that also works out, and updating the policies according to new regulations. Now let's see the components of ERM. So what are all the components? So which has to like come under the ERM? Internal environment, obviously. So when I say internal environment, it consists of everyone in the organization, all the stakeholders, the top management, the middle management, the operational team, other than the operational team. That is no like other than the regular employees. No, sometimes you will be having contractual employees or day employees, and workers, and the other stakeholders like the shareholders, the investors, and the suppliers, the vendors for the organization, and third-party providers, the transportation providers, the manufacturing, providers. So every third-party providers for the organization, and no, the customers of the organization. Customers means not the consumers. Consumers are no like persons, individuals like you and me. Company directly doesn't sell it to us. Company always sells their product and services through third party, that is the marketing channels, through retailers, wholesalers, distributors, right? So if it is a tangible product, intangible product, it could be directly served to the consumers, like technology, or no like healthcare, tourism, education. That would be no like directly sold to the final consumers. But when it is tangible product, so usually that goes through marketing channels only. So they also come under internal environment. So all these people, no, they are the component of ERM. Then objective setting. So why it has to be implemented? Why there should be a monitoring? So what steps has to be taken? What process has to be followed? So setting up the objective, event identification. So wherever there is a chance for not complying with the law or not complying with the rule, that has to be immediately identified, and assessing the risk, the percentage of risk or the extensity of the risk, the intensity of the risk, no, like that has to be, like assessed. And risk response, immediately there should be a response. So if you take too much time to know to respond to a risk, it may become like something much bigger, which cannot be handled at all. So immediate response to risk should happen, and there should be a control in overall processes, almost all the processes in the organization, and proper information and communication should be passed on to each and every employee or each and every worker in the organization. And monitoring has to be done almost on a continuous basis, not only for a particular period of time, but almost on a continuous basis. And for monitoring on a continuous basis, it's always better to implement technology, make use of technology. So, for example, a company identifies cyber threats, evaluates impact, and implements control and monitor the results. So, how do you to go with the risk assessment? So first, identify the risk, measure the impact of the risk, that is the intensity of the risk, and prioritize the risk. So risk which may cause severe damage to the company's brand or reputation, or to the employees, or to the top management. So that should be handled first. That should be looked into first. And the others should come next. So prioritize the risk. And for example, a manufacturing unit identifies power failure as a high impact risk and installs backup generators, because that is the main function, right? Like, because without power, the manufacturing unit cannot manufacture anything. So that's the core, the process of the company. That's the core process of the business. So that risk should be, that should be prioritized first, and the solution should be sought. So what are all the risk mitigation strategies? How and all you can avoid the risk happening? Either you can completely avoid the risk. So this is possible when you speculate the risk in advance through continuous monitoring. If you could speculate the risk which is going to happen in the future, you can take necessary steps now, necessary, process now, so that the future risk could be avoided. So avoiding the risk or reducing the risk. If at all there is a situation that anyhow a risk is going to happen, or anyhow the company, the enterprise has to face this risk, there is no other way to go, then try to reduce the intensity of the risk by having direct communication, clear communication with the concerned parties. So trying to reduce the risk, so that is one way to mitigate the risk. And share the risk. So if at all the company is run by shareholders, let the risk be shared with them. Instead of one person taking upon all the risk, so it could be shared with the shareholders of the company. And retain the risk or accepting the risk. That is the final stage, because uh, now unexpectedly the risk has happened. So now there is no other go. The company has to take the risk in hand and handle it very efficiently, so that not no huge, huge damages, or no like big damages are not made. So either of these four strategies, the risk mitigation can be done. Okay, so risk adjusted performance measure. Now, this is a strategy, one such strategy, which helps us to know, like, measure the uh, performance of the risk. So, the meaning is measures profitability after considering the risk. That is, if there are two projects which equally, requires almost equal resources and, gives almost equal returns, then one project which has lower risk is always preferred. Usually we do it for everything, right? Even for our personal matters, we do it, right? So if A and B, it's going to be the same, whether it's a product or whether it's something else. If A and B are going to be almost the same, so we prefer the one which has lower risk, right? So this is very easy to understand. So that's called RAPM, that is risk adjusted performance measure. So why it's important? It helps compare the investments very fairly and shows whether returns justify the risk. So where and all it can be used? Can be used in help capital management, that is managing the capital, returns management, employee compensation, and risk budgeting. For example, a company allocates more funds to startup units, which generates better risk-adjusted returns. Because nowadays, tech startups are not doing very good, especially when it comes to AI. AI startups are doing really good, and technical startups, they are also doing really good. So when a company decides to diversify their investments, so if more funds they have invested in these tech startups, so better returns could be got. So measures of RAPM. There are many measures, but the important measure is Sharpe ratio, information ratio, Sortino ratio. So information ratio and Sortino ratio, we will see it in another session. Sharpe ratio is very simple. If two mutual funds earns the same return, the fund with lower risk gets a better Sharpe ratio. So that's it. Value at risk. This is another strategy. It means measures the maximum likely loss within a specific period of time. That is, a company's daily value at risk is 1 lakh at 95% confidence. Say, if the company is making a credit sales for 1 lakh, so for say almost 5 to 6 of their customers. Okay, so to 5 to 6 of their customers, so they are selling 1 lakh worth goods at credit. So 95% confidence. So this means there is only 5% chance of losing more than 1 lakh in a day. So this is value at risk concept. So approaches to calculate value at risk is historical simulation. It's very easy because the customers may be buying from the same company for for many years. So last year they have made the payment correctly. The previous year they have made the payment correctly. So obviously this year also they will be making the payment correctly. So this is historical simulation. Model building and Monte Carlo simulation. So this we will see it in another session because this is something little big. You need little more time to explain. So what are the benefits of ER? Managing the enterprise risk. Better decision making so that you can avoid the risk happening. The losses could be reduced. Even the risk cannot be avoided at all. The organization has to face the risk at any cost. If that is the situation, at least reduced losses can be done. So improve the profitability, better compliance so that the company may not stuck itself to any legal offense situations, and increase the stakeholder confidence. For example, a company identifies cyber risk early and avoids a major data breach. So ERM manages risks across the organizations. Different risks require different strategies. Risk assessment helps prioritize actions, and RAPM and VAR, it helps to measure the risk effectively. An effective ERM improves long-term business performance in companies like banks, hospitals, airlines, manufacturing firms. So they use ERM to reduce uncertainty and improve the success. CRM, you might have heard. CRM is almost good software. It helps to maintain the customer relationship in a very effective way, but it is not as secure as ERM. ERM has a very good security, secured, the protocol, something like that. So that when you're using ERM, the information, the internal information with regards to all the stakeholders of the company, so it cannot be breached. It cannot be what do you say, hacked by a third person, a third party, or by any hacker. But CRM is little vulnerable. You have to, if you want secured CRM, you have to spend more. Your company has to spend more. But otherwise, the basic level CRM is it's very vulnerable to cyber attacks and everything. So using the technology and especially ERM, when it comes to managing the business, so it's always recommendable to avoid the security risk, actually, the security breach risk, actually. So other than that, the other risk, the reputational risk, the processing, the operational risk, the strategic risk, so it completely depends upon what measures and what kind of leadership it actually the organization actually has. Okay, so the remaining concept, we are going to um, discuss in depth about financial risk in our next session. So I will stop here now. I'll be here for another 2 minutes. If you have any doubts, you can ask.
Hi, ma'am. Can you explain the strategic risk again? Just a summary, please.
Strategic risk is all about making poor business decisions. Okay, say for example, the top management has decided to open up a new branch in different location without analyzing the market, without doing a proper market research, without analyzing the customer, the proper the customer's demands in that particular market or particular location. So without doing this, when the company decides to open up a new branch, obviously that's not going to work, right? So that's a business risk, right? And you can say like other investments like expanding its operations or adding few more departments to the company or setting up a research and development department or team in their organization at the very early stage of the business. No, that's huge risk actually. A company has to establish themselves for at least 5 to 10 years in the industry, and then they have to launch their R&D department. If at all it is a company or an organization which has some what do you say medical processes or biological processes, other than those companies or tech companies, other than that, a company at the very early stage having an R&D team by investing a huge amount, that's a high risk actually, because this R&D team is not going to earn any returns, for quite some time. So whatever you have invested in R&D department, it is going to stay there for some time, because we don't know when the results will come out. In a manufacturing unit, we know when the results will come out. You switch on the machine, you input the raw materials, go on with the process, the machine manufactures, and it gives you the output. That's expected. We know when it is going to happen. We have the time frame for that. But R&D department, there is no time frame. We don't know when the results will come from the team. So no, it's a heavy investment. So if it is going to be a heavy investment, obviously the company has to first well establish themselves in the market for quite some time, and then they have to invest. So that is another risk. And without understanding the customer's actual demands, you cannot go with designing or developing a product or service. And if you're doing so, that's another risk. So making these decisions without proper forecasting or without doing a complete research about the market or without doing a research about your competitors. So whatever decision the business takes, especially the top management takes, so that is strategic risk. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, okay, we will meet in another session. Thank you. Thanks for participating. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.